do you want to do tonight?
The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to
Solve 2A. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Almost Nightly Firearms Expo. This is episode number 72. I guess you could call me Brain, and I've got several pinkies on the panel tonight. Of all the pinkies, leading off the panel tonight is Gunpowder Beauty. How are you, ma'am? Anything 2A since we got to the last speak?
I'm doing good, and no, because I'm not allowed to say the word. So I have done nothing, nothing at all.
Not allowed to say the word. What word?
You know the word.
A bird's a word? Oh, well.
The bird is a word. I said a bird. Bird is a word. No.
Nice. 44 Magnum is probably the word that she's trying not to say.
Ooh, I was thinking that might be it. That or you guys are really riffing on Gizzard Gary tonight. What up with that? How you doing, Barbecue?
It's because we love Gizzard.
Indeed.
He's a cool cat or chicken, however you choose to look at him. But next on the panel we have future senatorial hope. Let's try that again. Future senatorial hope for the state of Ohio. T-Mott, Mr. Guns and Radio, Adam Rogers. How are you, sir? Anything 2A since we last spoke?
Yeah, I did a bunch of 2A stuff. Was reading about a bunch of different things. Found out that Ed Durr took down the one seat in New Jersey after they did on him a concealed carry permit there. So that's pretty interesting to note. He also spent less than $6,000 on his campaign to get that seat. So, that gives me hope for myself at this point, honestly.
There you go.
Also, watched a bunch of the Rittenhouse trial and how they're trying to basically throw him under the bus at this point. And that's not going to be good if that actually happens, because then it's going to screw with the rest of our self-defense cases and everything else in this country. So
I don't think it's going to do that. Maybe in the state of Minnesota, but
in Wisconsin.
Or yeah, it was in Wisconsin. He lives in Minnesota, right?
No, he lived in Illinois.
Illinois? Whatever. I'm going to say it's all the same over there. Chicago light. There's people in Minnesota and Wisconsin right now just having their heads explode that I said that. You're welcome. You probably shoot 9mm too. Yep. And say just lost all subscribers from Wisconsin to Minnesota. That's okay. And say, because that's what we're here to do. Just trigger people. Not really. So, next on the panel we have Mr. DJ Planice from some weird state that looks like it's a weird state. It's Nebraska. They like to fat finger their keyboards and time people out. So if that happens to you tonight, just know it was probably somebody from Nebraska. DJ, anything since we last spoke, sir? Anything 2A?
Catching up on some podcasts, including going to check in with the crowd out there in the text chat in a minute. I did my best to listen to G23's cast of the SCOTUS hearing, and that's where I'm going to stick and stay. What about you, Barbecue?
Well, we're definitely going to be touching on the SCOTUS stuff tonight. That was some pretty good stuff. It was interesting to see the back and forth, how everything went there. Speaking of everybody's favorite cat, chicken, depending on where you go to eat, the chicken might be cat, but this chicken definitely is one cool cat. Mr. Gizzard Gary, how are you, sir? I can't freaking talk tonight.
Well, I'm doing all right, but there's definitely a difference between cat and chicken. Actually, we have both here, so,
Very nice. Anything 2A since we last spoke, sir?
2A every day. Carry
That's
away,
right.
You know how it is, man.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Dream. Don't dream it, live it.
Gizzard has won the chat tonight already. You all lose because he said 2A every day when all of you could have just been like, oh yeah, I 2A every day. You're like, nope, just did something 2A today. No other days, just today. Gizzard wins.
Day.
And Gunpowder Beauty still doesn't have a 44 Magnum.
They got them at the store.
You know
just
what?
saying.
I hope you choke on air.
I hope I choke on air too. So, going back to the SCOTUS stuff, I thought that was pretty interesting to see how exactly they went at each side. Pretty interesting, like I said, pretty interesting stuff there. We'll jump into that in a second. I'd like to remind everybody that might be watching who is a resident of the great state of Pennsylvania, whether you're watching live or in the past or the future, however you wish to call it. Either way, it's in replay. But, man, my brain's not working tonight. I do apologize. But we do have 2 bills coming to the Senate floor here in Pennsylvania at some point on Monday and Tuesday. They are SB 556 and SB 448. Those are both Senate bills, hence the SB. But SB 556 is for Pennsylvania's constitutional carry. From what I have heard and come to understand, that should just roll right on through. There's been a lot of work done behind the scenes to get that to the point that it's at now. So things are looking good with that. The other bill, SB 448, is a bill to strengthen preemption law here in Pennsylvania. While we do already have preemption law, pain in the rear end municipalities such as Philadelphia and Pittsburgh like to try and circumvent it anyways and impose penalties on their constituents and infringements on their constituents because they feel that they have the right to, such as just several years ago when Pittsburgh said, you know what, we're going to get rid of AR-15s, no more AR-15s in the city. And eventually our state Supreme Court said, whoa, no. It's a preemption law. You can't do that, slick. So having that strengthened will be a big deal. So be sure to contact your senators if you are a Pennsylvania resident. Called mine today in her Greenville office, and I asked, hey, I was just wondering how Senator Brooks intends to vote on SB 556 and SB 448. I understand they're coming to a vote on Monday and Tuesday in the Senate, and I was told that they are not typically privy to that information in that office. That is normally information that the Harrisburg office would have. I'm like, oh, alrighty. I was like, and she's like, before I could ask anything else, she said, if you can give me your information and I will forward it on and they should get back to you. And I was thinking they're not going to get back to me, if they do, it's going to be hopefully by the end of the day tomorrow, because, a business day and all that BS. And so I was like, yeah, sure, I'll gladly do that. Half hour later, I got a phone call. I was like, hot damn. So talking to the lady down in Harrisburg, and I asked her, again, how does Senator Brooks intend to vote on these? And I was informed by her aide that Senator Brooks is actually co-sponsor on these bills. So I was like, oh, that is absolutely terrific, which when she had told me that part, I couldn't help but notice she seemed a little apprehensive to mention that. And after I reacted the way I did, very excitedly, if I would actually go and look at the sponsors of the bills, I would have realized that, but I just never bothered to look at the sponsors. Slap me on the wrist if you want. It is what it is. I'm still being active here, doing my part. So if you're doing more, then I'll gladly take that slap on the wrist. Otherwise, it is what it is. Anyways, so I think I'm going to give them a call back tomorrow and just kind of pick, believe the lady's, I don't need to say her name. It's not like I'm doxing her or anything, I guess, but either way, I don't really need to say her name. But just kind of pick her brain and find out if they've been getting a lot of negative feedback towards this, perhaps. Because, like I said, she did seem a little apprehensive to tell me that until I had my reaction. She's like, oh, so you're in favor of this? I was like, absolutely. So, yeah, be interesting to see what I find out there. But, yeah, so called my senator about that. What else do we have going on? We got the Supreme Court stuff. Went and finally did a deep dive on Instagram. Instagram is not something that I typically use. And by the way, welcome Cobalt to the chat. I'm going to be DJing everybody for several more minutes, so just in case you're wondering, like, who's that weird blue thing? Say he's a nerd and likes to use chemistry symbols because he's Cobalt Flame. Anyways, so I was watching Santee TV a week or two ago, and she kind of hollered out, Gunsnbbq, you need to get on Instagram and check these ladies out. And I was like, I don't use Instagram. I mean, I do, but not for seeking anything out. I use it to contact people that I already know, or maybe, that I perhaps found on YouTube or anything like that. And it's an easy way to, message them because they may not have an email listed in their about section or anything. So sometimes it's convenient to, set up a 2A Women Wednesday that way. But I never thought about trying to search for ladies on Instagram. So been meaning to do that for a couple weeks because the last 5 or 6, might be a little bit more than that, messages that I had sent to people, whether it be email or Instagram. And that's the other nice thing about Instagram is I can actually see if they've seen the message or not. But anyways, the last 6 or so messages that I've sent, I've just gotten no replies. And I actually did get a reply about 3 days ago from one of them saying, hey, I really appreciate it, but my parents are ill and I'm really focusing on this right now. It's just like, hey, I completely understand. And I told her I appreciate her getting back to me. Out of all the ones who have gotten messages from me ever and didn't reply, or, well, maybe didn't want to do the show, I don't know. But only 2 have ever replied saying no. So if I do get a reply, it's typically saying, yeah, I want to do this. But the vast majority, I guess you could just say, just ignore them. So it was nice to have that reply back. But so taking Santee TV's advice, I finally started messing around with Instagram a little bit more and realized, there's an untapped resource there that I have not been using. And I guess you could say it's to the detriment of 2A Women Wednesday because there's a really good resource there for me. So did a deep dive on that last night. Sent about 18 different messages, and I've got 4 commitments for 2A Women Wednesday right now. And out of those 4, one of them is already locked into a time and date to do a pre-recording, and one of them could be locked in hopefully as soon as tomorrow or Saturday. The other 2 that has said they definitely would like to do it, just trying to figure out what is going to be best times for them. So 4 out of 18 so far. Nothing to scoff at there, I don't think. And, as long as those 4 stay committed and follow through on everything, then that's at least 4 more weeks of 2A Women Wednesday. And hopefully I can keep the ball rolling and not hit a plateau again where I have trouble getting somebody. Definitely going to have to be doing more of a deep dive. But so I'd definitely like to say thank you to Santee TV. And if DJ or maybe MKJo out there could drop the link to her channel, because she is absolutely incredible and just absolute riot. So before we do a roll call, I guess we can talk to Mr. Cobalt Flame now. How are you, sir? Anything 2A since we last spoke?
Just been working on that revolving carbine. Found out that my buddy, since he was homeless for a while, he was living out of his truck. He, for whatever reason, had the truck super humid, and he had all of his black powder guns in there and had never heard of oil. So we're going to have a lot more work to do after this one's done. But this one we made a good amount of process on. The cylinder was seized to the cylinder pin. We managed to break that free, and we got to properly inspect the barrel. And it's not good, but it's a lot better than I thought it was going to be, because we couldn't see all the way down with the cylinder still in there. So we just have limited tools we're working with, but looking pretty good. We know we're going to have to replace a couple parts. The hand we're going to have to replace. We have to get a screw for the loading lever. We managed to find that. He had that stored in a box separately. He thought he had lost it, but we found that. So we're probably going to have to replace the cylinder. I don't know, because it's got a lot of rust in there, and when we get it off, I'm worried it's eating too much material away, but we'll see what we can do. We'll test it, the best we can once we get it all fixed up. But it's starting to look pretty good now. It looks 100 times better than it looked when we started. I wish I had taken a picture of what it looked like when we started.
All right, yeah, you should have. I mean, you can still take pictures now. It's not, by the sounds that you're not too far along where it wouldn't make a difference or anything. Where people would be like, "Oh, you can do a lot."
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me.
He looked at me. He was like, I really appreciate you caring about my gun so much. I'm like, first of all, I have a thing for kind of antiques and stuff like that, or antique-looking stuff, the more traditional style firearms. And I saw yours, and I was like, I will not let this die. I've taken it personal now.
Absolutely. So
I had a question real quick. Sorry, dude.
Yeah, go for it.
You can use cold bluing on those, right?
Yeah, it says. I was gonna say as long as it's not nickel plated, but even then you can just wear off all the nickel plating. But then normally you have the issue nickel plating has copper under it, so then you'd have to get rid of all the copper. That'd be a nightmare. Yeah. But as long as it was blued before, you can just re-blue it.
Awesome.
Just know that cold bluing is really a temporary fix. You got to take really, really well care of it once you do it, especially if you're talking about doing a full restoration with it. Honestly, it might be more beneficial to because it is a handgun. Or no, you said it's a carbine, right?
Yep.
Oh, boogers. Yeah, I don't know. As I say, because what you could do is actually get a caustic bluing salt kit from Brownells and just get like a 30-gallon turkey fryer and actually get those bluing salts going in the turkey fryer, and then you submerge the firearm in the turkey fryer, let it go for however long the instructions say, all that fun jazz, and you've got a brand new blued gun. Problem there is turkey fryer is not large enough to do a rifle. You could put it in a turkey fryer and see if you could do it in halves and see if you get lucky, but the problem is obviously you can only fill it so far, so the likelihood of being able to do it in halves, not good. You could see about removing the barrel, but then you got to see if the barrel's pinned or if it's press fitted. Is it say if it's threaded in, things like that. So, like I said, that is an option. But if you guys are looking to do the cold blue, just know that you're gonna need to keep it very, very well oiled once done. Likewise, also remember, I've got a video on this on my channel, you could just watch it, but 95% of that is prep work. You got to make sure that metal is absolutely spotless. Oils from your fingers, things like that, can taint your work area, and it's going to mess up the bluing, and in about a week it'll rust over really bad. And it doesn't matter how much oil you put on there, so because the salt's on your fingers, things like that, it boogers it up. So a lot of prep work. Honestly, when I'm doing a cold blue, especially on a full job like that, I'm looking at several hours of prep work, making sure that thing's spotless. Then only after that does the cold blue process come in, and you can use, if you use Birchwood and Casey's, they've got the liquid or the paste. Honestly, I prefer the paste. That's just my personal preference. Do what you want. Like I said, I've got a video on doing that on my channel, so if you want to, go take a look at that, check it out. But yeah, so Anything else?
You asking me or the panel?
You.
Oh, yeah. What do you do with pitting?
Pitting? Depends on how bad it is. If it's just on the surface, see how much of it you can sand out. At that point, you just kind of have to deal with it. You can try and sandblast it. That will help get into the pitting a little bit more, rather than trying to sand it by hand, because you're not going to be able to really get into that pitting. But the cleaner you can get that pitting, the better. So whether you're using nylon brush or whatnot, make sure you really get that pitting clean. But if it's pretty severe, you're really stuck with it, because you only want to take off so much metal,
Right.
Depending on where it is, barrel, receiver, things like that. So yeah, that's a tough one, unfortunately.
Yeah, the cylinder is pretty pitted on one side, so that's why we're thinking about replacing it outright.
Yeah, cylinders are dime a dozen a lot of times. Well, you said it's a Noberty, so yeah, that shouldn't be too big of a deal.
Yeah, just trying not to replace anything we don't have to, but that one's more of a safety issue, I think. So,
I guess it would depend on how bad it is. So, yep.
all right, that's all I got.
Cool. So, if nobody has anything else before we get rocking and rolling, DJ, could you do a roll call?
Absolutely. Before Gunpowder Beauty dropped in, there was no one. So she was first tonight, followed by Makoyo. G-Webs is out there. G23 is in the room next, but he's already gone, heading off to bed because he may have to return to work, I believe. Two Live Moo, the fat guy from Michigan, is out there. Gizzard Gary popped in next, asking, what is this? It's the same thing it always is on Tuesdays and Thursdays, right, Gary? And then next person in the room was, wow, I got to scroll down a while. Holy, the man himself, the dead horse, has arrived. 11 after 10, he came in and said, thumbs up, everyone, and subscribe. Dead horse, nice to see you back in here again, man.
Yes, absolutely. Going to say it because I got a message from him on the Instagrams the other night after we had gone off air and everything, saying that, what gives, man? I'm blocked. I'm like, shouldn't be blocked. So I went and figured out how to see if he was blocked with the help of Gunpowder Beauty. Thank you very much, ma'am. And sure enough, he was blocked. I don't know why or how, because Dead Horse is absolutely amazing, and glad to see him making the rounds again. So either way, we do have Mr. Dead Horse gracing us with his presence, at least in the text chat again. But as always, he is more than welcome to join the panel.
And before you even think about it, don't try to lay that blocking thing on me. I don't think I even know how to do that.
Yeah, you do. You just fat finger it.
Oh man. Okay, well, I'll try to keep my fingers away from the screen. PNW Woods is checking in from out to the left coast. And after he came into the room, Pat Hirsch, who must be in a bunker somewhere, Nebraska, I guess. And then, wow, still scrolling down. We got 11 people in here. Ozzy Osbourne was Defense Dad was the next person in. He's saying, holy hell, what is this? About to steal your line there, Gary. And then we have Ozzy Osbourne barking at the moon and in the room as well. Bringing the line down to the end here. Last comment in. We got Gun Metal Guy USA. TPC Cook. And TPC Cook's the last one to join the room. He's out there saying howdy.
Howdy. So getting ready to drop a poll on everybody. So anybody on this illustrious panel or out in the text chat get to check out the SCOTUS arguments yesterday. Also, I do know that I was supposed to stream that live. I did not get to because Capgun Cowboy has been ill the last couple nights and has had some terrible nights. And just, yeah, I was up literally all night with him. Seemed like every 15 minutes. I think he might have the Rona. We got to get him tested, unfortunately. It's not been well with him. And then, I couldn't go live with the way he was and is. Then he was actually feeling a little bit better last night. I was able to jump into Rick's life as I see it. And actually, before we could do closing plugs, all that fun jazz, he had an accident come up out of his pull-up, and I was like, all right, well, time to throw him in the bathtub, because if you can't get him clean in the bathtub, you just got to throw the whole baby away and start over at that point. Ain't that right, Gunpowder Beauty?
Oh, absolutely.
Yep, see? And also I'd like to give a shout out to Kingpin, because he gave me a resounding plug at the end of Rick's show last night, so I really do appreciate that, sir. If you end up watching this in replay, he does not typically catch this live, as he is a hard worker and has to be up every morning bright and early, so I actually need to send him a text message and tell him thank you for that. But if he happens to catch this in replay and hear it before I do that, then hey, thank you. But yeah, so like I said, I did not get to stream the SCOTUS case, so luckily G23 did. And what did y'all think?
I thought that I wasn't able to listen to the complete program, but at the beginning, not far into it, it was the first, I believe, the first male that spoke from the judges panel. I wish that I had an image on the screen. I didn't know who to associate the voice with. I'm so used to seeing the two of them together. So I was a little bit surprised by the comments being attributed once it was passed back to the lawyer who began arguments there as Justice Thomas. I didn't recognize his voice, but I did understand how he was trying to bring the lawyer into line. And I thought it interesting that he wanted to work everything by analogy. And
Yes.
I thought that an interesting tack to take. I'm not quite sure why. Is there somebody on the panel or in the text that might have an idea of why he might have decided to go that way? It'd be cool to find out. But I didn't advance enough in the presentation to be able to say much more. Barbecue. What about your impressions?
So before I get into that, I would like to welcome yet another panelist to the panel. We got Pat in a bunker. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. How's everybody else doing then?
Not too bad, not too bad.
Good.
So,
actually, you guys are just hitting on the points that I wanted to come in and comment. Perfect.
Alrighty. So, anybody else got thoughts on this? Alright, cool. So, I watched the whole thing. I actually watched the whole thing twice just to let it all sink in. Plus, again, I was dealing with a sick kid, so I was sure that there's probably some things that I did miss. And the second time that I watched it, there was a couple bits and pieces here and there that I picked up. Some of the takeaways that I did get from that was, at first it seemed like apparently the defense had come in there and had a pretty broad scope that they're trying to go with, and the Supreme Court really narrowed it down. So as far as, let's say we get a favorable outcome in this, do we think it will affect the nation or just New York? I think overall in the end it will affect the nation, because even if they just said, New York does not have the ability to do this, they need to be shall issue per se, eventually, that's going to affect places like California, Hawaii, Maryland, etc., because the Supreme Court has said, you're going to have to be shall issue for this reason, and I think it's going to, no matter what, make those other states fall in line eventually, even if they don't do a broader nationwide thing with, shall issue or anything like that. So anybody else have similar thoughts?
So I was actually watching and or reading some stuff about that in a more general sense, and they compared it to the Heller case, which, if I recall correctly, they said they had to bring another case forward to to say that it didn't just apply to DC; it was nationwide. So hopefully they can get it to be more encompassing than the Heller case was in that instance.
Good possibility. We got Bacon and Chief Woods joining the panel now. Man, we are getting a full house. Check that out. Woods, how are you today, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you, folks?
Doing all right. Thank you. T-Mont, what were you trying to say there, sir?
I was going to say, I had a thought on this. I think, if nothing else, what it will do is it'll set case precedent for New York, and then you can just have Maryland or whoever else come up and being like, hey, you said it for here. Why isn't it in our state too? And that just leads to a bunch of different lawsuits then.
Yeah, and like I said, eventually, even if it happens only for New York, it's going to have that precedent there where eventually the other states are going to have to fall in line. It'd just be nice to have that broad brush stroke that takes care of it, and everybody that's living under tyranny with similar laws like that can get out from under it at the same time. So, Woods, do you have any thoughts, sir?
I think that would be nice, but the current Supreme Court has been pretty clear on that they're going to make rulings as narrow as they possibly can.
Yes.
So I do think that they might be as broad as just ending shall issue state or may issue states and just making everybody be shall issue. I can see that, but that's as far as I think we can hope for.
Yeah, let's say. However, because some of the stuff they did talk about was history. And one of the things with history that they spoke of, and I cannot remember which justice this was that brought it up, but about in history it was actually frowned upon to conceal, and there was actually laws against concealing, and you're only supposed to carry openly. Which I was like, yes, I'm gonna say fine. You don't want to do a shall issue with concealed carry. That's great, but then you have to grant open carry everywhere. And I was like, to me, that's a win. And that's actually what the poll out there has to deal with now is would getting a national open carry at that point be a win, or is it just a compromise, or do you guys see it as a loss? I realize a lot of people prefer concealed carry because there's a lot of tacti-fools that have made a lot of money preaching about how much of a tactical advantage that you have by concealing, and how you're going to be the first one dead if you're open carrying. I've been open carrying for 10 years now. 11 years, 11 years. Still alive. But yeah, so what are you guys' thoughts? Is it a compromise? Would it be awesome to get that, or is it detriment?
One positive thing on the way to a greater victory.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. I'll put it this way. We were kind of talking about it a little bit earlier tonight on another podcast. If they can get this, and they actually did narrow it down pretty good, and I liked it, because they were actually hunting after one specific point. They're saying, we're not going over open carry or anything else. We are just talking about the right. It's not the shall or may carry or shall issue or anything. It's if you pass a background check, you pay your fee. It's not one of those things where somebody can just say, no, you can't have it. It's, you can have it. You can carry concealed, which is great. And they pinpointed it down great, because it's not trying to do a really broad stroke thing. And which I think is great, because they weren't trying to open it clear up, which I think is going to be a victory, just like everybody else said. And yeah, so I think it's honestly going to be great. If they can win it, then yes, it will open more doors to more states like California and a couple others around. And actually, I'd kind of like to get my neighbor's thoughts on that, and I'd like to kick that over to Gizzard Gary.
Well, personally, I think that just narrowing it down to open carry is a compromise. Uh, it's still a restriction on the way you're allowed to carry, no matter how you look at it. There are so many ways you could define open carry to where you could consider somebody in violation of it simply by their jacket accidentally blowing around and covering up their weapon. Then it's concealed, and then you're a criminal or something like that. And defining whether or not it could be in a car and everything else, the rules need to either be off the books or not, in my opinion.
You know, Gary, something you just mentioned makes me think of something I've never considered before, and it's the inverse. And that's what one of your points was. If something were to cover your open carry, that would make you that would make it illegal.
Yes.
I've always considered it to be the opposite, where I imagine myself as I find myself on occasion, say, buying Diet Dr. Pepper, and I need to extend myself and my reach to a shelf in a store, and I have concerns sometimes about revealing my concealed weapon. I've not thought of it that way before, Gary. I'm going to take a break and think for a minute. Thank you for that.
You bet.
Yeah, no, and Gizzard, you bring up a lot of great points, and that's why I did bring this up, and I didn't want to bring those up myself because I was hoping somebody else would. And you're right, there are a lot of issues there, such as getting into a vehicle. For instance, here in the state of Pennsylvania, as soon as you get into a vehicle, doesn't matter if your firearm is, you could have it displayed on your chest with friggin' lights and sirens and everything else saying, look here, here's my gun. The second you get in your vehicle, it's considered concealed. So if all you had was the right to open carry before you got in your vehicle, you would have to unload your firearm, have your for the state of Pennsylvania, that is, look it up for your own state. But here in PA, you'd have to unload the firearm, store the ammo separate from the firearm. The firearm cannot be accessible to you in the car at the same time as the ammo, and the ammo cannot, vice versa. So, having one in the trunk and one in the glove box or in a locked box and whatnot, it's a pain in the rear. And a lot of people don't realize that, and that's just one of the issues. So, yes, I agree. It would be a compromise, but I think it would definitely be a step in the right direction. But another issue there is I do feel that so many people have been I'm going to use that word, indoctrinated into thinking that open carry is a terrible way to carry. That even if they had the ability to open carry and they were still being infringed upon heavily by their state as far as getting a concealed carry permit, they would just choose not to carry still.
Right, and that's kind of the argument I'm making. They can get it, but it's
Say,
Pat's
Pat,
getting
you are
eaten by the
definitely
aliens.
you're buried in the bunker again, man. Grab some new signal and come back.
Okay, how's that?
You're back again. Go.
Okay, that's kind of one of my points.
So while Pat searches for signal, let's take a quick look at this poll. We have 14 votes in that poll. Would open carry be a win or a loss? Looks like we have 21% of people reporting in saying yes, it would be a win. 29% saying no, it would be a loss. 36% saying yes, it would be absolutely huge for that to happen. And 14% saying it would be a compromise. So that is the end of that poll. I will think of something else to post. But in the meantime, we'll see if Pat's got any signal back. Doesn't sound like it. So
Well, that's because he's muted up. He's muted up just now.
Gotcha.
I actually want to jump in on this one for a sec. It's something Gary mentioned about the whole covering with a jacket thing. That's been actually a huge thing during the committees for Ohio getting constitutional carry right now, of how quick you can become a quote-unquote criminal just by having something zip over your open carried weapon.
We didn't have that problem in Texas. You were a criminal if you carried without a license, no matter how you carried. Once we had open carry passed, so before we got constitutional.
Yeah. The thing is, Ohio's been an open carry state for I don't even know how long at this point, the majority of my life. But we've also had the ability to get constitutional carry since 1997, I believe.
Yeah, Montana. When I was up there, when I mentioned, as I mentioned in one of the previous chats, that was something I had to be concerned about since it was wintertime. I was wearing a thick ass jacket because it's cold as shit up there.
Wuss.
Shut up, bitch. But anyway, that was something I had to be concerned about. Was I had to make sure that my open carry gun was outside the jacket because that was right before they got the constitutional carry in Montana, and I didn't obviously have a license to carry, so yeah, that was my concern.
So here's the next poll. Asking if the only way for you to carry was to open carry, would you still carry? So we have absolutely, no way, Jose, and no, I'll be the first one dead.
Barbecue, can you kick off the panel's response to that? And go around the horn and respond to the poll, beginning with yourself?
Yeah, take it away. I say it's kind of dumb to ask me. I open carry daily.
Right. I most absolutely would.
I'm going to have Woods' dissenting view of the day. I would never do that. You do what you got to do, Barbecue, but I would never do that.
No.
I'll take
where I live, you would meet every cop every fucking day. No way.
I'll take the next one. Yeah, I totally carry. In fact, I prefer open carry. I just wish attitudes towards it from the general populace would change. Instead of viewing it as like, oh, you're up to no good, you're a terrorist kind of stuff. That's why we have like the 30-07 signs and shit. Which is why in my day-to-day I usually conceal just so I can get in and out of shops when I need to. But if I'm not going somewhere that I know has a 30-07 sign, I'm just going to open carry. I find it far more convenient in practicality. So,
all right. T-Mot, GPB, Pat, Gizzard.
Let me go. My problem, yeah, I would do it if I had to, if that was the only method I have. But I'm not a big fan of open carry for a couple reasons. For one, and this is just pure clumsiness and practicality as far as I'm concerned, if I'm open carry and I'm banging the gun off every doorway and chair I walk past and everything else because you get something sticking out there. Yes, I know you could probably be a little bit more neater about it, and I have open carried at rallies and stuff like that. But as a matter of course, even in the house, I prefer to conceal carry. But if you're out in public, then you've got to worry about retention because you've got a gun where somebody else could grab it too. So you've got to carry it in a way, or you should, that somebody else can't take your gun. Where if you're concealed carrying, chances are if they don't know where your gun is, they're probably not going to be able to reach inside your clothing and take it. So you've got that to worry about also, plus getting into a car and accidentally hitting the seatbelt and everything else. So that's the reason I don't open carry. I'm not worried about people seeing it per se, but there are other things that go with it. But if that's the only option I had, then I'd do that rather than not carry at all, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm going to dissent from some of those opinions. So I understand your concern about somebody taking your gun, but first of all, just like if you were concealed carrying, you should be cognizant of your environment, correct? So you should be able to, in theory, see somebody doing that or that possibility. And as far as a retention holder, or as far as retention, you can just get a holster that retains it. It's not that complicated.
Yeah, but I do understand people that they don't want any added mechanisms
Attention.
to have to undo when they are going to draw. So if they're having to break a thumb break or do the finger click like on the Blackhawk Serpent holsters, or a lot of them now have a thumb push that when you're going to put your hand in, you're pushing down on that and pulling out. There's a lot of different retention methods for things like that, but that is yet another step that you have to remember to do and practice when drawing. And that's why so many people don't want a handgun with an external safety. So I understand the concern there. However, Yankee Marshall had done a video a long time ago. I shouldn't say a long time ago, a couple years ago, addressing the idea of retention. And if you're open carrying and having somebody pull your gun off of you. If you're carrying in a good holster that's made for your firearm, according to his video, it's very, very hard for somebody to disarm you. And mainly because with how if they're coming up from beside or behind you to pull your gun off of you, the angle that they're doing it at, the gun is actually biting into the holster, and it's not allowing the firearm to exit the holster easily like it is normally going to when you draw it yourself. And I found that to be kind of interesting, and I had my dad come over, and for the longest time I've only carried leather holsters now. Only recently carrying a Kydex holster again that I got from Craft Holsters Review, which I actually really did enjoy that holster. Go check out that video if you have not seen it. Awesome holster. But so, like I said, I only did this experiment with leather holsters, but again, because I'm carrying a good leather holster that was fitted for the firearm, and it already had some good retention other than thumb brake, which normally I carry a thumb brake anyways if I am carrying, but without the thumb brake he could not pull out the gun because of the angle that he's having to pull at, which I found that very intriguing. Now, like I said, I didn't get to try that with any Kydex holster, so I don't know if that's going to hold true, but with a leather holster, they would have to know exactly how to pull that gun, what angle to be pulling it up and out of that holster at. Now I hear a lot of people say, because they're Captain Gung Ho, I know how to draw that gun and disarm you. Oh, well, do it then. Because it's not as easy as it's made to look in the movies.
Theoretically, you can disassemble a Beretta when it's pointed at you.
I saw that movie.
It's a great movie. But yeah,
that's my feeling on the concerns about somebody taking your gun when you're open carrying. Is like, yeah, you can also disassemble a Beretta too. Good luck.
Come on, Jackie Chan. Let's get this good.
I should actually go and get like a crappy nylon Bulldog holster and just do a full overall review on that and see, with Kydex holsters, crappy nylon like a Bulldog holster or an Uncle Mike's even, good leather holster, etc. And that's not to say that Kydex holsters are bad. They're just not my preference. That's all. I'm sure G-Webs is out there like, leather sucks. It's going to fold into the trigger and you're going to ND and yeah. But actually, I did almost have that happen with my Galco holster. That was disappointing. For a $90 holster, I only had it for 3 months. That got tossed in the trash. But yeah, I don't mean to. We're getting off in the weeds here.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah, go for it.
Can you legally also carry concealed?
Yes.
So in the wintertime, if your jacket did slip over your gun, you're not violating any law.
Correct.
Now, if the law said you had to carry open carry or otherwise you're violating the law, it's a different story.
It could be, yes. Yes.
So then you got to worry about your winter jacket. Is it going to slip over and cover your gun? If it is, you can't carry it that way. What do you do, for example, when it's really, really hot? I like to go outside in a pair of gym shorts sometime, and I'll carry a really small pocket carry. That's kind of difficult to do if your requirement is to open carry. So do I got to strap some monstrosity of a belt around me so I can open carry my gun, or get something that hangs off a necklace or something like that? I mean, there's a lot of considerations if that's your only option.
Yeah. Now, come on, Gizzard. You know you want to just be walking around in gym shorts and a battle belt.
Yeah, that's a look I'm really after.
Oh, yeah. You know what? Here's a visual for you, folks. Gizzard Gary mowing his lawn in a Speedo and a battle belt.
Or a shoulder holster.
You're all welcome.
I was about to say, shoulder holster, please. Shoulder holster.
Oh, man.
Oh, dear God.
Gizzard, $20 to see that video. Oh, my God, that'd be entertaining.
Cassie's got the answer for us out there.
I really do.
And Pat's still
Pat's
robotic.
still trying to find some signal, but I think Woods was
What were you
trying
saying,
to get
Woods?
us our attention out to
Cassie's
there.
got the answer for us. You don't have to worry about it. Just carry it in your hand. Everywhere
Yeah,
you
there we go. Great. Just brandish it everywhere. Fuck it. Dang it, I broke my rule. But yeah, so yeah, no, there are a lot of issues with just having the option to open carry if that's what they were to go with. However, after we get the rest of the panel's thoughts on that, I got another question to pose to you folks. So, GPB.
Yeah, she just dropped out.
Oh.
I actually hit. Okay, there she is.
Go for
I
it.
actually had something to say on this, though. If it was open carry only, I'd actually carry a chest rig.
All right. Interesting.
Chest rigs are awesome.
They are. So, GPB, would you open carry if it was the only method you were offered?
Yeah, I mean, I've open carried in Texas and in Missouri, so it's not anything new for me.
Yeah, I'm not surprised to say, I swear to God, we're just separated at birth. It's awesome.
Listen, when you have something like a 1911, it's almost criminal to cover up such a beautiful gun. So
Exactly.
I enjoy open
Although I
carrying.
will say,
And also,
I was just going to say, to Gizzard's point, you tend to bang it around. I only find that I bang my gun around off of surfaces when I'm carrying my Dan Wesson or my 329 PD 44 Magnum. I don't know why. It bugs the crap out of me. I'll just be like, bang. I'm like, what the crap? And it's not that I'm not cognizant of the other firearms having that happen. It's just, it seems to happen with the Dan Wesson and the Smith. Like, darn it. Sorry, GPB, I didn't mean to cut you off.
whatever, you just did that so you could sit there and say about the 44 mag. Don't even lie. Like, I know how this works.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you're such a jerk. But with the 1911, I actually enjoy carrying it because there have been times where if I'm out with my kids, I'm going to open carry because there's a lot of times I'm not going to encounter somebody with a gun 90% of the time. But there are going to be people that are going to be looking at my kids like they could sit there and abduct them. It happens in Texas all the time. I'm pretty sure it happens in Missouri. It happens all over. And when you are someone with a gun and there's somebody who doesn't have a gun who just wants to kidnap your kids, they are going to think twice about doing it because they see that you have a freaking gun. So open carrying is kind of my go-to when I have my kids around because, one, it's a 1911. Two, it's a full-size freaking big-ass gun, and I am not like some dainty little girl. So when people see me, I'm hoping that they kind of look at it and like, okay, that's a bitch I don't want to mess with. Because when it comes to my kids, I have no problem taking your life if you think about hurting my children. I don't give a damn who you are or what gender you are. I'm going to put my kids' lives first. So I think open carrying kind of helps in those kind of situations that somebody who could want to do harm second guesses their decisions.
Yes.
Can we get an America
and-
fuck yeah for that?
No, I control that. Bite me.
Yeah.
So you touched on a great topic there. And again, we're not going to go off into the weeds or anything, but one of the things I always mention when advocating for for open carry is visual deterrence. When I worked corrections and armed security, any trainings that I took, that'd be one of the first things I mention is the power of a visual deterrent. And that is one of the primary factors I open carry, because I don't want to have to draw my gun. I don't want to have to, whether it's firing a shot or just drawing it, the second that you have to draw that firearm, your life changes. And I don't want to have to do that. So if having that visual deterrent makes the person that's down on their luck and getting ready to rob the Dollar General, or just sees that, oh, blind guy, blind guy has a gun on him, no, things like that. If it keeps me from experiencing that trouble, at least until I leave, and after I leave something happens, well, you know what, it's not my job to protect everybody. I'm responsible for myself and my loved ones. So if I can deter that until I am no longer in the presence of what's about to happen, then I'm good with that. So yeah, you brought up a great point of visual deterrence. But yeah, so somebody was asking something there, and I do apologize. Was it DJ or T-Mont? Well, neither one of them speaking up. So
I don't recall what the question might have been, but I think Pat's back.
Pat, you back?
Well, as long as everybody can hear me, is everything okay?
Seems like it.
Okay. Well, I'm sitting a little bit closer to the Wi-Fi.
Alrighty.
One thing with the
Oh man, you're gone again. You
Yep.
tried, but you got to try again, Pat. Sorry about that. Barbecue, do you mind if I catch you up with who's out there in the room? It's been a while since you got a roll call, and there are a few people who have jumped in.
Yeah, go for it. Because I'm getting ready to end this poll. So we'll do a quick roll call, and then we'll hit the poll and move on to the next question.
All right, I'm going to go in reverse order to catch up. Got Buck Naked Project out there. DJ in the room as well. Angelina B has got something in particular to say to you out there, Barbecue. We can get to that later, perhaps. And I think that might catch us. It does catch us up.
All right, so what's Angelina saying?
Oh, are you sure you want to know? She says
Absolutely.
that open carry is small PP energy.
Oh, that's all right. That's why I carry a 44 Magnum.
Bang.
Damn.
And Zach Price just jumped into the room just now.
Well, and I open carry because mine's big enough. I have to hold it with two hands. So there you go.
Mm-hmm. So on this poll, we have 20 votes. Asking again, if the only option you had was to open carry, would you still carry? We have a landslide here. 80% of people saying absolutely. 15% saying no way, Jose. And very happy about this result. Only 5%. So I'm assuming that's one vote. Yeah, actually, it would be one vote because, do meth, ding dong. But only one person saying that they would be the first one dead. So I almost expect that somebody's just trolling me with that one.
I thought that it might have been you yourself participating in that poll.
I can't vote in my own poll.
Man, something about that always slips my mind. So Dead Horse is out there with a couple of observations. One, perhaps, is the first genuine counterpoint to Angelina's observation. And he says, open carry is a reminder to people their self-evident rights. It's also a reminder to bad guys that good guys have guns. He goes on to say later on, and Woods would like us to know that that this is attributed to John Lott, and that is 4,500 times per day. The mere presence of a firearm prevents a crime. Thank police, security, and open carriers for that FBI statistic. And then a little further on here, this is Dead Horse again, says, at one time in this country, it was illegal to conceal carry in all states. It was seen as cowardly, and only criminals concealed carry. Good guys wore guns, open carry only. Slim Cowboys jumped in the room.
Evening. I'd like to send a quick congratulations to Angelina and Slim. I tried to comment on the Facebook post, but I'm in Facebook jail, so congratulations to you both. Man.
Do we have to log on to Facebook and figure it out? Or are you going to let us know?
I'm not allowed to spill beans like that.
Oh, okay.
They won the lottery and they totally just bought a whole bunch of firearms. Congratulations.
That overnight package should be on its way all across the country. So Dead Horse making one last point that is, I really like this one. He says, just like until recently, we said only bad guys wear masks. And then Angelina B, she's out there saying, now the bad guys don't wear masks, according to the media.
Yeah. It's like, it was really nice see on Halloween all the people that were, following COVID protocol, wearing masks. It was great.
I like that.
My kids didn't, and I loved it.
I'm trying to... So that question I wanted to ask earlier has slipped my mind. Crap. It was a good one, too.
There's actually a pretty good question in the chat, private chat.
Yeah, very good question in the private chat.
Very, very good question.
Anybody want to read it?
I'll go for it, Gun.
If you have to open carry, what gun would you carry?
Nice. So who presented that one, just out of curiosity?
Gary.
That was me.
Love Gizzard. Gizzard's great.
Because, the question I had, for concealed carry, most people choose something smaller, that they can fit inside the waistband or something. But open carry, that's off the table. You can carry whatever you want to. So a lot of people who would be carrying a small 9mm, compact or something might opt for a full-size gun if they were open carrying. So.
Are we only doing practical carry, like day-to-day, or are we doing, like, barbecue gun style thing?
So if I had one, I would totally be carrying a 44 mag.
Mayor's leg if it was barbecue.
Barbecue carries a barbecue gun every day, doesn't he, though, Cobalt?
I have open carried
That is true. That is true.
I have open carried a Mayor's leg.
Oh, that's badass. That's positively badass.
I'm going to start calling you Zoe.
Guns, have you honestly carried a Mayor's leg?
Yeah.
Dude, you just went up about like 10 points in my pocket.
Yeah, if you go back and watch my zombie video that I made last year when Never Enough Ammo did his zombie gun competition, I chose Mare's Leg as my zombie gun. So with that, I made a drop leg holster, and I open carried with the drop leg holster that I made.
Epic. Love it.
So, man, I'm really trying to remember that question that I asked before. But yeah, if we want to go around the horn on this one, we'll lead it off with T-Mont, and we'll just follow in order how we are on screen.
For open carrying, were we talking about that?
Yep. If you did open carry, what would you choose to open carry? So, and it doesn't necessarily have to be anything that you own, because perhaps you don't own what you would open carry because you choose to conceal carry all the time. So in this sense, it could be a hypothetical gun that you do not own yet.
1911.
Great choice. Gizzard.
Well, I'd have to think about it because that's opening up. I've got a lot more choices now. I mean, I could carry any of my, my Glock 19, my 22, my P320. I've got a 1911 that would work. So many options now. I'd have to think about that one. Probably the P320 to start with, because I've got a nice holster for it.
So I have to ask, what would the P320 be chambered in?
Mine 9mm.
Gizzard.
That's all I have right now. I'd probably have to go buy a different gun, maybe, or something.
Now like I said, we are allowed to choose.
Probably, if I went with the 22, then I've got the option of 40 Smith and Wesson, or I've also got a 357 Sig barrel for it too. So we could have lots of fun with that.
You don't have to own it.
Yep, and say it could be a hypothetical because you might not own it already because you conceal or you choose to conceal all the time. So, it could be
a whole new ball game, man.
Yep. Yeah, I was hoping you were gonna say 357 Sig. I'd be like, all right.
Well, that's the first thing that popped into my head. It's like I could carry the 357 Sig, but that's a big gun, and I'm a small guy, so it might be clear down halfway to my knee, but And plus,
now he's just showing off and hanging down to his knee. That's why he's not doing that video. He has to be so far zoomed out.
Speaking of 40 Smith, there's also the CHP gun, the 4006.
There you go.
If I wanted to go fancy,
that would be.
It's heavy, so But yeah, there's that one too. I'd have to probably decide what am I going to wear for the day and which one would go best with my outfit.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
Fashion forward.
Yeah. That's right.
Yep. Absolutely hilarious. Fashion forward.
Go on. Mine's going to be a multi-part answer. I know. So we've already established a barbecue gun one. So if it was for practical carry, for the ones I don't own, probably a Smith & Wesson 627 8-shot 357.
Okay, good choice. I can get behind that.
Yeah, been eyeing one of those for a long time now. Just can't afford it, but it's out of my budget.
You could.
If it's ones I currently own, then it's going to be either my 1911 or my Beretta 92. And
nice.
Funny enough, I will be open carrying here in the next week or so a 1858 Remington. So
very nice.
That'll be my daily carry for a while.
There you go. Going old school. So, Pat in a bunker, are you able to hear us? What would you open carry if you did open carry?
357 Magnum.
All right, we got the 357 Magnum part, and you cut out.
Pushing over to Woods.
Yep, and say we're going to push over to Woods and come back to
clearly have all the guns I own. I'm going to have to go with. I'm going to open carry the Altor.
Really? I thought for sure you were going to say SP101.
Well, I mean, I just keep carrying the same gun because, to be honest with you, if they made some law where I had to be open carry, I would carry because I just keep doing it. I shall not comply. I just would.
Exactly.
I would just keep carrying whatever I normally carry. I just wouldn't tell it. I just wouldn't tell the cops.
Indeed. Gunpowder?
If I was still in Texas, I could get away with carrying an AR-15. Here, I'm not sure about that, so I stick with my 1911. But if it's I could pick and choose whatever I want, it would definitely be a 44 mag with a 7.5-inch barrel.
I love that both firearms that you picked, you don't own.
You know what? Just kiss my ass, dude. Just kiss my ass, okay? Dip the knife in just a little bit deeper and pour salt on the wound.
I adore you. You know it.
I know.
DJ.
I'll own him
Uh,
one day.
One day. Oh no, Pat disappeared into his
Uh-oh.
bunker. Yeah. Hey, barbecue. I'm going to go ahead and hit the text chat. They're out there chatting away with what they would be carrying. You mind if I do that?
Yeah, go ahead and hit it real quick.
Okay, last one. I'm going to go in reverse order. TPC Cook says he's going to be carrying his 8 3/8 inch 629 as he's been doing for 36 years. We got Gary checking in revolvers. He goes after the Taurus 85, but if he were open carrying, he probably would go with something with a 3 or a 4 inch barrel versus that snubby. Let's see. Before that, Woods is kind of joking when he suggests, or maybe he's not, going incog with the Mossberg 590 Shockwave. DJ out there saying his Glock 23 for his basketball shorts carry. Pants, again, bit of a jokester out there. Open carrying the PKM. Let's see who else. Zach Price, the Glock 20. That's not a bad choice there. DJ actually going back to Glock 23. Just a few things before that. Oh, Wheeled and Well Armed hasn't told us what his carry would be, but he's out there saying hello, as is Daddy Dutch Barbecue.
Evening.
And Ozzy Orsborn checking in. He would open carry he's very specific here. Sit tight and listen keenly. My 1911 10mm with blue grips in his blue on black leather holster. So what would I do? I'm going to throw you off for a loop. SP5. One of these things is not like the other. Was that a stumper? Seriously? Okay, the HK SP5. Does that help?
We're just kind of like, whatever.
Oh, man, I thought I would get, like, extra creativity points for that one. I could go to a barbecue worldwide and I'd be recognized. And so Pink Panther 69 is out there saying the FNX Tactical in his custom Rain tactical holster.
Oh, all right.
And Daddy Dutch Barbecue saying can't carry, but love listening to the chat.
Ah, poor guy. Yeah, I think we actually touched on that in the barbecue after chat briefly Saturday night. Daddy Dutch is a solid dude. As for me, well, obviously I choose from a plethora of 1911s, just whichever one I feel like carrying that day. Or my 44 Magnum, 329 PD. I could carry my Ruger Red Hawk 44 Magnum with I believe it's a 7 5/8 inch barrel, but that one is a little weighty. Actually, it weighs about the same as most of my 1911s. So the problem is carrying it on the hip with that long barrel is kind of cumbersome. Shoulder rig is nice, but I don't have a good shoulder rig for it yet. So that one does not get carried very often. But if I was going to do just like a barbecue gun or something, that should be arriving very shortly, and that will be the Desert Eagle 50 AE.
That's a beautiful gun.
It's going to be pretty. You can see how shiny it is and probably end up doing a polish on it that way. I've got like a nice mirror finish. But yeah, so going back to the SCOTUS stuff, what are your guys' thoughts after hearing all of the arguments? One of my thoughts is they wouldn't have taken this case and they would not have narrowed it down the way that they have unless they fully intend on giving a favorable decision to us. Granted, we've got a long way to go with this, but they could have just as easily said, no, we're not going to hear this, or said, yeah, we'll hear this and we're going to let it stay broad. That way we have a really good reason to say, you know what, you guys dropped the ball. We're not giving you that favorable decision. But they really, again, they narrowed it down to be super precise for a reason. And I think that reason is because they know that they're going to have to rule favorably for the New York State Rifle and Pistol Association. Cool, crickets. I killed it. All right.
I didn't really see
No,
any
Woods
of
is
it.
about to speak up.
Yeah, I didn't really see any of it. I've just seen a bunch of people talk about it. And I, was at work all day, so I didn't get to watch any of it.
Yeah, say, it's kind of a privilege of being a blind dude.
But I think at the end of the day, they're going to strike down the May issue, and that'll be as narrow as that'll be as broad as it'll be.
I think so too. If they struck down May issue and required all states to be shall issue, I remember the question that I was going to propose to you guys finally, and I will get to that in a quick second. If they do strike down May issue, make every state shall issue, I think that would still be a huge win. Is it where we want to be? No, but that is a big win for, again, the people that are living under the tyranny in New York, New Jersey, Maryland, California, Hawaii, etc. So, yeah, that'd be a big deal. So my question is, let's go back to the open carry thing. Let's say they said, you know what, we're not going to touch this May issue stuff because that's up to the state, and the state needs to have that ability, but you can't restrict somebody's right to carry. So if you want to be May issue, you have to at least allow open carry, which we've actually seen the Ninth Circuit rule on that in the Hawaii case like that. So I could definitely see the Supreme Court going that way if they wanted to. My question to you folks is, if they do say, you know what, you can keep your May issue, but national open carry, that's the law of the land now. Do we see more of these counties in states like New York, New Jersey, California, etc., giving more handgun permits readily because they aren't going to want people just wantonly open carry like that? So they're going to say, you know what, to curb that, we're going to hand out more handgun permits.
That's what happened here in Washington way back in the day.
Yeah.
We're open carry as well, and then they wanted to curb open carry, so then they went to May issue, or no, shall issue, and then, yeah, that's exactly what the thinking was way back in the day, like in the mid 80s, whenever they. Because I got my first permit, and I can only account from 93 on, because that's when I got mine. But that's still, 27 years ago. But I can remember just before that they were like, when they first said, you can get, and mine was a weapon permit. It didn't even say pistol on it.
Yeah.
They said pistol much, much later. But yeah, I could see a lot of states, if they're forced to do open carry, they have to do open carry or shall issue. They'll choose shall issue.
Mm-hmm.
You could still open carry, but the government would rather have you put it in pockets, not scare people and all that, which is silly. But that's, the government does all kind of silly stuff.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking too. Anybody else have any thoughts on that?
You guys solved 2A.
Yeah, pretty awesome like that. That's why I'm the brain. Woods can be a brain too.
I don't sit
He's
there
pretty smart
and
dude.
judge I don't trust
Yeah.
the government not to completely screw us over, so I can't really have a positive opinion about this.
The teeny bit I did see, and a topic I'd like to, I don't mean to railroad your topic here, but I remember one of the justices asking about why are we paying for a privilege? Like, as soon as you put a permit to it and there's a fee, it's not a right anymore. You don't have to pay for any of the other rights. I don't have to pay for the First Amendment or any of the other amendments, but I got to pay to use the Second Amendment? That doesn't make any sense. I'm hoping they strike that down as well.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Well, I think that they also should strike down things like permits for protests and stuff like that, because I view it the same way. If you're allowed to assemble under the if your right to assemble, I should say, is protected under the First Amendment, why should you have to pay for that?
Because I was actually talking to G-Webs about this one time, and he brought up some pretty good points, and I understand them. And it's things like, you got the public space, so you have a rally or something, let's say, and bunch of people there are slobs, everything else. They leave a bunch of trash, everything else. Somebody has to get paid by the government to go and clean that up.
Yes, that's what your tax money is for.
But do I want my tax dollars being wasted because a bunch of jackwagons had taken and were just disrespectful to government property? No.
Sure, cite them for littering. That's my solution to that.
Yeah, let's say that's not going to work.
To not be such douchebags. I know that's asking a lot, but
so you're literally just going to have uniformed police officers roaming through the crowd, trying to find each person that drops a water ball or something like that. Yeah, that's never going to work.
Point made.
So there were some other things that G had brought up, but that was the one that stuck with me most. I was like, okay, it makes sense. Somebody's gonna have to clean up that mess. And you could say that the taxpayer dollars are being allocated to other things other than that rally that you asked to do special. That rally that you asked to do special wasn't necessarily in the budget. And the cleanup afterwards, and that's one reason when we do have 2A rallies, you always hear people advocating, "Hey, clean up after yourself. Make sure that we leave it cleaner than when we went in, etc." So that's a big deal. But yeah, there's going on the SCOTUS stuff still. There's several other things that they had mentioned. Again, relating some things to things like the First Amendment. Remember they brought up correlation with the Fourth Amendment and Second Amendment. There were really good points made. If you did not get to listen to these arguments, again, G23 streamed them live. Guns and Gadgets streamed them live. I was supposed to, but sick children get in the way. CBS News, I believe it was, had streamed it live. In all those sources you can go back and watch on. So, man, just killed the chat apparently. We just dropped from like 12 to 7. Check that out. But yeah, so anything else that people thought was pertinent? Because I should have made notes because there was a lot that I wanted to touch on there, but to probably do that Tuesday night as well, because we have yet more arguments and whatnot coming Monday at 10 a.m. So fingers crossed I'm able to live stream that one.
Look forward to that.
Very much so.
What's that?
I look forward to watching the replay.
Yeah. I say poor Woods, and say that. Well, what time does school start there?
What time do I start, or what time does school start?
What time do you start?
7 in the morning.
I say that's right when it would start.
Right. But I mean, dude, I got meetings every day.
Yeah, you should just tell it 2A. 2A, yeah, 2A. Gotta listen to this 2A. Find social justice warrior. Find social justice warrior. Have her sit down and be like, "Yeah, 2A, we got to listen to this." And then they'll be like, "Oh, this is really important," because they don't agree on things. So if they're both agreeing that they need to listen to this, it must be important. We need to put everything on hold and let them listen to this.
Yeah, you're adorable. I'm trying to get kids to sit in their seats.
Any good social justice warrior stories recently? I haven't gotten to ask you about that. Always seems like you and her have a good back and forth.
Yeah, she doesn't work there anymore.
Oh.
Yeah,
I think you did tell me that she was leaving at the end of the year last year. Crap.
Yeah. It was cool. We did have the really good where whoever made a claim, you get a counter argument, and then you get a rebuttal, and then another rebuttal, and then we can't talk about that topic anymore so we can stay friends.
Yes.
We debate all the time. Yeah. Feel free to use that in your own life. It's a great way to get along with other people that you don't agree with, but you can hear some other views.
What is Pants saying there?
Which one you
Oh,
got?
he'll be sound asleep at 7 a.m. Yeah, he's one of those people that keeps the world turning late at night. Good dude. Good dude. All right, so... Oh, check this out. Now, this just does say Angelina, so we may not be getting Slim Cowboy joining as well, but we do have Angelina, who is always first. How are you, ma'am?
Good, just being first again. I had an announcement that I wanted DJ to make, but then I forgot what it was. It wasn't the pin thing. Oh.
Those are freaking sweet, by the way.
What?
Those are freaking sweet, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're, I'm hoping they do good, because it's like the new hot thing. You know, everyone's into pins, I guess. If any one of your magical listeners knows where we could find a GP100 in 22 long rifle, email me. Finder's fee. Or finder's reward, what do they call it? I don't know.
Let me talk to my LGS.
Yeah, his
okay.
LGS is pretty solid.
I've seen him have one before.
And then addition to his LGS's house, that was barbecue paid for that.
Yeah, 100%. I get unlimited pool access though, so it's kind of cool.
Do you wear clothes or do you go?
Well, I really just do what I want, because when you're buying the house for your LGS, he doesn't really say too much. He's like, oh yeah, you do whatever.
Like
I just have to
swing in his pool and shit.
I just have to like skim the hair out of the pool.
That's super easy for him. He doesn't have to see everybody else's junk.
That's the bright side. Or the dark side, I guess you could say, because, well, it's kind of dim. But, yeah, so...
Come to Missouri, you can find one at Academy.
Road trip.
I'm showing a few here at the... Or I'm showing a few locations that may have them here in Texas near me.
At Academy?
No, gun ranges, actually, interestingly enough. There is one for Academy, though. There's actually two for Academy. My apologies.
I wonder if Academy will ship. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's not on the...
You can get them. You can get them to send it to your LGS wherever you're at.
Yeah.
Is it on the roster?
I think it is on the roster. I'm pretty... Last
all right.
time I cared about the laws.
It says available in CA.
Well, Rimfire was exempt from the roster, so...
There you go.
Hopefully. Maybe. We'll see.
Yeah, on Ruger's side, it says available in CA, so...
Oh, yeah. I was pretty sure it was, but some... there's two challenges. One is finding one. The other is finding an FFL that wants to ship to California. Because, like, you get a lot of, like, oh, fuck no, I'm not doing that. And it's like, it's perfectly legal, dude. Just ship to an FFL. But they don't want to, like, get involved in anything that involves California.
Poplar Bluff, Missouri.
Well, I'll check that out, see if they'll ship.
Eagle Gun Range in Louisville, Texas. Frisco Gun Club in Frisco, Texas. Rifle Gear in the Colony. I haven't heard of that place. And then Academy number 82 and Academy number 81 here in Texas. I just went onto Ruger's website, though, so I don't know if they actually have them in stock. It's just what's showing on retailers.
Well, there had been a conversation with Ruger earlier today, and the customer service woman said that they did just send a bunch of them out, but I guess they only send them to like 2 distributors or something like that.
Big Rock and Sports Shit.
Yeah. So one of them, she said, though, they got quite a few. So there should be some, hit in the circulation in the next week or two, according to Ruger, hopefully. But a local gun store said today that they hadn't seen GP 100s in 22 or anything else for a while. So who knows? Hopefully we'll get lucky.
Yeah, I know I saw my LGS with one. It was probably a little over a year ago, year and a half. Obviously, it's not going to be there now, but he might have a lead on where to find one, so I'll definitely pick his brain for you.
That'd be sweet. Thank you. I already have an FFL to send it to, like all lined up and stuff. So.
Yeah, and he has no problem. If he's making money, he's like, yeah, I'll ship it. Except for ammo, because he doesn't have a hazmat, apparently. It's like, oh, crap. But we got that taken care of. No big deal. Goddamn FedEx.
They're the worst.
Mm-hmm. Yep, so, got another poll coming out there. But if we don't have anything else on the SCOTUS stuff right now, like I said, I should have made notes, but again, kid's sick, don't have the free time like I normally would with him entertaining himself to try and do things like taking notes. He's been a cuddle bug the last couple of days. Actually, yesterday, literally laid in bed until 1 p.m. because he just didn't want to get out of bed, and I wasn't allowed to get out of my bed either. He's like, no, you stay here. I'm like, okay. So, yeah. What else? Anything going on in your states that we should know about? Any gun shows? Any rallies? Any legislation that's concerning? Any legislation that's like, frick, yeah, this is going to be awesome?
Big goose egg in Nebraska.
Ohio could be springing up a bunch of different gun bills, but as far as I can tell, they're not bringing constitutional carry to floor votes yet.
Okay. Well, it sounds like everybody else is silent on that. I do have yet another gun show to go to this weekend. I did not get to go to the one last weekend because of reasons that were out of my control. With any luck, I'll get to go to the one this weekend, though. I did get to go to the train show on Sunday. That was pretty awesome. Dropped way more money than I should have, but I haven't gotten to go to the train show in, probably 5 years or so. So you could say the amount of money that I dropped would have been what I spent over that 5-year span. So I was just making up for lost time. So that was pretty fun. I should do a little video on that just for shits and giggles. Be like, look, I bought trains and I'm going to nerd out on you. But we'll see. I don't know. There's a lot of videos I need to do. But yeah, so if you are anywhere near Northwest PA, the Chapmanville Fire Hall will be having a gun show this weekend from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturday, and then 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Sunday. So if you're in the area, go check it out. Now, obviously, we got people like Gizzard that's like, or you could just come down to Wanamaker. But, hey.
Yep, I'll be there actually a week from today.
There you go.
Driving.
Wanamaker in November and in April.
Yep.
Did you guys already talk about the Illinois tax thing? Cook County tax thing?
No, we have not. What can we find out about it from you?
So some days ago, not sure how many, but recently, Cook County, which is where like Chicago, the county Chicago's in Illinois,
yep,
has a tax on guns, and they repealed that, saying it was unconstitutional, which was like pretty good because they're like California basically, but it's back. I don't know why. I didn't read the article, but they've reinstated it.
I heard something about this briefly, but I did not get to follow up on it at all.
And I thought you were going to end on the good news portion of that, the reintroduction or reapplication of it. That's kind of a wah, 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 wah.
Well, I know it was a really good story until the government got involved, which is like the story of everything. But
yep,
yeah.
The only thing I heard about that recently after it was struck down was there was a bunch of people that were buying guns and ammo now since they weren't taxed to death.
That's positive, at least. At least they had like 3 days of Freedom Week, I guess.
Like a back to school tax free
You
sale.
say, but is
2A
that
boost the
going
economy.
to?
Oh,
Confirmed.
now that we say that, I forgot to bring that up. One of the bills that Ohio introduced the other day would actually make it so that we don't pay tax on guns and ammo anymore.
That'd be cool.
It has to be anything below 50 cal, though.
That shouldn't be too hard for you, Mark.
Still, yeah. I say, how many fire is it? 50 cal and below, or anything below 50 cal?
It was anything below 50 cal, and I think the way that it was written was it basically has to be able to be carried by one person. So it would basically be BMGs and stuff like that wouldn't be able to be considered and whatnot. But
Why not?
everything else is though.
Say 50 BMG is easily carried by one person.
Yeah,
Well, no, I'm
shot
talking
off
about like
hand.
But yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, I don't quite like the fact that they're demonizing 50s and anything larger, but that's a pretty cool step to see. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else to mention. Oh, I guess I do have this awesome little cheat sheet over here that I printed off.
And then do we have anything that was coming Texas way, Kansas way? Let's see, Washington, California sort of checked in, and Missouri?
I don't like the abortion law Texas passed, not for the abortion topic itself, but the way the law is written and how it could negatively affect 2A.
What about Kansas then?
Not much to report.
Except that you'll be exiting the state to drop down one just further south to hit Wanamaker. That's pretty exciting.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what about Missouri, Gunpowder Beauty? And Woods, perhaps? Anything going out Washington way?
I have no idea, dude. I'm pretty busy these days. I should be better, but yeah, no. I'm in the thick of it now.
Right on.
Oh, so here's something I can mention. If you go over to my community tab, I shared a short video. I think it's probably about a half hour long. So if you watch it in double speed, you can actually watch it in about 15 minutes. It's from CBS and which I believe is CBS News. But they did this thing on firearms, and I'm going to withhold my thoughts on it because I would like everybody else's honest thoughts and opinions on that. Some of you might be mad at me after you watch it. Some of you might be like, oh, that was cool. I can't say much more because then I'll give away my thoughts and opinions, and I don't want to influence anybody. However, I'm pretty sure we're all going to pretty much have the same thoughts and opinions. The couple people who have already commented on it had the same thoughts as I did, but be interesting to see what the rest of you think. So if you want to jump over to my community tab after we're done and check that out. Like I said, it's about 30 minutes long or so. If you play it back in double speed, you can get it done in about 15.
Link is in the chat.
So, yeah, if that's all we've got.
That bill I was talking about is called HB 471, and it specifically is titled as exempt sale of certain firearms, ammunition from sales and use taxes.
I've got something to plug at the very end.
We didn't know how. Need to know how you do that. That's not that kind of chat there, Cobalt. Yeah, I got a quick question. Going back to the SCOTUS thing. So, why the heck is the NRA name getting tied in with this? Where not obviously with the SCOTUS case when you look at it, because it's NS or NYSPRA or something like that, RPA or whatever, versus Bruin. But a lot of places that I see talking about this are like the NRA case in SCOTUS, and I'm like, it's not the NRA. Are they somehow actually tied into this, or is it just a bunch of ignoramuses? Just, it's something gun related, so we're gonna say NRA.
Maybe the NRA paid for media exposure. That or it's ignorance, because GOA, NRA, they both end with A, right?
Yep. So I think that's gonna do it for tonight.
I actually have a question here about when it comes to NRA specifically, and this has to do with Ohio specifically, it's constitutional carry. Why the hell is the NRA trying to take credit for stuff when it was people like myself who were the ones working on this for over 7 months? They did jack shit and then came in at the very end here and now trying to take credit for it.
Because that's what they do.
What are they taking credit for?
I was literally.
They're trying to act like they were the ones that made up constitutional carry for the state of Ohio, and they did absolutely nothing until it got out of the committee right now.
They've done that for 2 decades.
Yeah.
That's why in the hell, T-Mod.
Okay, then.
But I do know the GOA has been doing a lot behind the scenes for Pennsylvania's constitutional carry, so that's been pretty nice. I don't know if I should say GOA as much as Val, but he's the director of GOA for Pennsylvania. So, anyways, good on them for that. Thank you. We'll go around the horn and get this one wrapped up. Viewership's starting to drop off anyways. So, Tima, anything you'd like to plug, sir?
Yeah, I'll be doing the 2A Constitutions podcast tomorrow. We'll be discussing the Rittenhouse case from this week.
Alrighty. Gizzard Gary.
Tomorrow night, Foul Territory number 150, and we will be discussing Wanamaker coming up.
Awesome. Looking forward to that. Unless I might not be there, Gizzard.
Oh no.
I might be recording a 2A Women Wednesday at that time. We'll see. So if anything, I'll just kind of slide in like Obi and be a little bit late.
That works.
Yes.
Love to have you.
Unless we have like a stellar after chat, then I'll just drop in like I have the last couple weeks, and it'd be long after the show's ended. But yeah, so yeah, fingers crossed that gets recorded tomorrow. If not, hopefully Saturday. But yeah. Oh, speaking of which, I've got a poll out there where I asked, are you folks excited about hearing that 2A Women Wednesday will be returning? And we have 10 votes in that poll. 10% say yes, 10% say no, 80% saying America, yeah. So sounds like some people are pretty darn excited. Glad to hear that. So we'll end that one and move on to Cobalt. Anything you'd like to plug, sir?
Yeah, so I started a new Discord server. I don't know how to give y'all the link right now, but actually I can give y'all the link. Just give me a bit after this. But it's prepper based, so it's just basically like a forum where you can go and share advice and tips and stuff like that. It's called Prepared Citizen Network. Just look it up on Discord, and I'll provide the link here too for anybody that cares.
Nice. Sounds good. Woods, anything you'd like to plug, sir?
Buy stuff from mountananchor.com.
There we go. O and W. Actually, it would be an O and an A. DJ.
Be safe, have fun, carry your guns, and as always, rock.
Gunpowder Beauty.
Everyone go check out rnldisplays.com.
I think she just told you to go check out Rob's Big Black Wood.
Yep,
very nice.
True fact.
Yep. Also, Gunpowder Beauty was live tonight, so go back, check that out. That's fun.
I was
Angelina.
not. Princess Squeaker decided to make an appearance.
Well, either way, it was a good time. Angelina, anything you'd like to plug, ma'am?
Yes, buy things from owlandanchor.com. If you mention barbecue show, I'll give you free things in your package.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
Check that out, folks. Don't even need a code. You're just like, barbecue show. And then you're like, oh, wow.
That's the ultimate in the homie hookup. Is just you name drop barbecue. He doesn't mind. And then you get free shit.
Unless it's Woods, and he's got to share, like, just a sliver of bacon.
Shall not comply.
Nice.
So, would like to thank everybody for showing up. This show tonight went a little bit longer than normal. Actually, a lot longer. Normally, we're only right about an hour. This one went $1.45. So, yeah, this one was a long one. Yeah. So, thank you again for showing up. Looks like we had a pretty lively text chat out there for the most part. Was really busy there for a while. As far as viewership, everything else, that was great. I can't thank you enough. But with that, gonna roll the outro to thank our channel sponsors and supporters. You guys know who those are. And then we'll drop the link for the after chat if you'd like to jump in. We got a couple more slots left. Also, I won't mention that quite yet. I got to talk to him. But yeah, so here's the outro. We would like to say thank you to owlandanchor.com for great two-way items like these. Go to owlandanchor.com and place an order today. We'd also like to say thank you to gearwebsites.com. Yet another great two-way website. Go over to gearwebsites.com, pick up more great two-way items as you see here. And as always, please remember, I'm two-ayer than you. Dadgummit, Billy Bob, I told you to stay out of this. Now I don't remember what I was telling the people.